So the difference between a car that dies at 100,000 miles and a car that runs like it's brand new at 300,000 miles is not luck, it's a system. My name is Joe and I've been in the auto repair industry for 25 plus years, actually diagnosing vehicle problems. During that time, I've seen many vehicles make it over 300,000 miles. So I've come up with the top 5 things that you can do to get the exact same results and keep literally any car on the road past the 300,000 mile mark. Be sure to stick around for number 1 because by far it is the most crucial. But let's start off with number 5, and that is to learn or familiarize yourself with your vehicle. Here, Google can be your best friend. By simply searching your vehicle's make, model, and trim, you can get all of the information that you're going to need. You may also have to know the exact engine type, but you can usually find this on a sticker inside of the engine bay. This should give you pretty much all of the information that you need to know about your specific platform. And then this way you'll be able to see if it has anything like any common problems. For example, CVT transmissions kind of have a stigma for being not very reliable and not lasting very long. Well, I've seen them last over 200,000 miles as long as the owner changes the fluid in it every 35,000 to 40,000 miles. Don't just familiarize yourself with the type of vehicle that you have, also familiarize yourself with how it drives, how it sounds, and kind of how it feels, driving down the road. If anything starts to change, like it starts to get a hum when you're going past a certain speed, or it starts to make like a loud clunk when you're going over railroad tracks or something, that is not normal, and that is something that definitely needs to be addressed. Another thing to mention while we're here is if you've bought a vehicle and it's always made weird noises or it's always had a clunking sound, don't just assume that because it's always done it that it's normal. It's kind of like, I'm sure we've all been in a vehicle where you get in it and you're like, wow, this thing like drives really nice, it's not shaky, it's not loud at all. Well, honestly, that's kind of how every vehicle should be. All right, so number 4, driving habits. This one's gonna be a kind of a little quicker one and more self-explanatory. Basically, the faster you go, the more wear and tear you're going to experience. Maybe tires, brakes, shocks, suspension, steering components, stuff like that. And plus, obviously, the faster you go, the more likely you are to get into an accident. So I guess really, this one could be how to extend the life of your vehicle and of yourself. Number 3, do not ignore your check engine light. Alright, so this is where we kind of get into the bare necessities of what I'm trying to get through. Honestly, one of the worst things that you could do is to continue to drive with your check engine light on. Even if you scan the code and figure out that it's something that you don't really care about, or like maybe your cousin's uncle's grandma told you that it's nothing that you need to worry about. So many times I see vehicles with the check engine light on and tell the customer what it is and they say, oh, it's just an O2 sensor. Oh, it's just a small evap leak. Well, those things can and will cause problems and cost you money down the road. It's kind of a domino effect. Those sensors affect other things down the line. And this pretty much goes for every light on the dashboard, especially red ones. Red is usually oil pressure or something's wrong with your braking system. That's when you kind of want to stop. The only acceptable light that should ever be lit on your vehicle that I won't say anything about is the stupid TPMS light. That thing can get a piece of electrical tape. Alright, down to number 2. Do not install a supercharger on a 22RE first gen Toyota 4Runner. No, actually, I'm just kidding. You should totally do that. You should also go over and check out my friend Dan's channel, Beat Up Builds, because that's exactly what he did, and it is glorious. While you're there, tell him I said hi and make sure to subscribe. But let's actually get into the real number 2, which is performing routine maintenance. Every vehicle has a scheduled routine maintenance, and it's there for a reason. Vehicles have a lot of moving parts which experience wear and tear, and replacing these wear and tear items is absolutely crucial. So like, for example, this is a wheel bearing off of a 2006 Chevy Colorado. Basically, this part right here is what your wheel connects to, and this part right here is what connects your wheel to your suspension. Now, this is not just a wheel bearing, which, by the way, this thing hopefully will spin about 40 million to 100 million times during its life. That's like 40,000 miles to 100,000 miles. There ain't gonna be no way 100,000 miles is gonna happen. But this is not only just a wheel bearing, it's also your wheel speed sensor. So a lot of times, if your wheel bearing's going bad, this actually brakes. Not only can your wheel fall off of your car entirely, but you will also, once it starts to go bad, experience problem with your ABS and everything, because basically this little wire tells your vehicle how fast you're going. And with modern computers, you know, the computer is everything. It knowing what it needs to do, how fast everything's going, the whole car depends on it. Not really a bad thing, it's a good thing, it's a safety thing, but it just kind of is what it is, domino effect. Including with maintenance is stuff like changing fluids, changing brake pads, stuff like that. I've already mentioned about changing fluids in a CVT transmission, but after doing my video on if brake fluid goes bad or not, I got a bunch of comments, really nice ones, just like this one that I'm going to put on the screen now. And this is the exact type of thinking that will stop you dead in your tracks from ever reaching over 150,000 miles on your vehicle. And also, that pun was very much intended. Now, the number one thing that will help you get to over 300,000 miles is, you might have think I already mentioned it, I kind of did in the last one, but this is the most crucial thing, and I don't care what anyone says, you need to change your oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Bottom line, I don't care what type of oil it is, I don't care what type of vehicle it is, mostly gas engines we're talking about here, but it doesn't matter. No vehicle or oil on planet Earth really is exempt from this. Zero weight full synthetic can never go past 5,000 miles, despite what they say. Now, we also get into the kind of, you know, the point of cars, modern cars are much, much different. They have VVT solenoids, stuff like that. Google all of that, you'll find out a lot about that. You might be kind of questioning, you know, well, why would they tell me that? Why would the manufacturer conglomerate tell me that, you know, I can go 8,000 or 10,000 miles on my Zero W40? Well, it's because you have to think of all of the millions of cars on the planet Earth. It's not really the manufacturer's thing, it's an EPA thing. If we had every single one of the cars, you know, on Earth or whatever, even a fraction of them, doing 3,000 mile oil changes, we would be running through oil like crazy. So basically, they say, you know, this engine, this oil, whatever, blah, 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 will get you 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 miles. It's absolutely false. Basically, every single thing that, especially on modern engines, that is crucial for your engine to run relies on the oil. The oil is pretty much your bearings for your whole rotating assembly, meaning your pistons, connecting rods. You don't even really have to know anything about that, but it's pretty much is your bloodline. And you know, now engine oil kind of has another job on top of lubricating everything and acting as bearings. It also acts like brake fluid in a braking system or hydraulic fluid in a hydraulic system, meaning that, you know, it will be required to have oil pressure to use the fluid to turn a valve timing gear, which is kind of getting way further out of the scope of this video than what I would, you know, want it to go. If you want to see more on that, I would suggest Googling it. There's a lot of awesome videos on it. But honestly, we as the consumer, and I guess just in life general, are being lied to about so many things. And going 8,000 to 10,000 miles on synthetic oil, or any oil for that matter, is definitely one of them.